A very lovely good afternoon and welcome to the latest news bulletin on 104.1 Favor FM with me, Innocent Amon. The news now in detail. The police and civil societies in the Acholi sub-region have started raising awareness of land laws and rights to avert violence against widows and orphans. Redeem International, which supports widows, orphans, and victims of land violence, and the police have organized legal aid clinics, which are facilitated by the police's community liaison officers and lawyers privy to land laws. Some of the key focus areas include the Succession Act, Domestic Violence Act, and Family Law, which emphasizes the nature of land ownership, non-violent handling of land-related grievances, acquisition processes, documentation, and land occupancy laws. Caroline Grace Aneno, who offers legal aid education, pointed out that ignorance of the law is the main contributor to violence relating to land matters within the Acholi sub-region. She emphasized that the public should be aware of the laws that protect vulnerable people and also be guided on clear reporting channels in order to avoid land violence. Moses Ogwang, the community liaison officer for Gulu District, disclosed that there are many land disputes within Gulu District manifesting in different categories. He explains that widows and orphans are the most affected, noting that they suffer physical violence, emotional violence, economic violence, malicious damage to crops, and denial to access. Ellen Anena and Vincent Opio, all from Olano village, believe that the awareness will prevent violence relating to land ownership, which they say had become rampant in their area due to the ignorance of the law. Speaking during a legal aid clinic at Olano Trading Center in Agung Village, Unyama Sub-County, Patience Abe, the community liaison officer of Redeem International, said that they want to apply a civic approach to preventing violence related to land matters. The police in Agago district have impounded 600 bags of charcoal. The bags were being transported in vehicle registration number UBA 283Y from Adilang heading to Kampala. 3 charcoal dealers who were on the truck were arrested and detained at Adilang police post. Leonard Ojok, the LC5 chairperson Agago, says the operation on trucks carrying charcoal will continue until the illegal trade is stopped. Ojok says the impounded charcoal will be distributed to all boarding schools in the district. He adds that owners of any truck that will be impounded for carrying charcoal will pay a fine ranging from 1.5 to 2 million shillings depending on its capacity, and the money will boost the revenue of the district. John Okidi, the Agago district forest officer, called for more vigilance of the community and identify those still trading in charcoal on a large scale. We have more on this report.
The enforcement agencies like the police, technocrats, political leaders to join hands so that we enforce this order that has been put up by the president. And in our community, we really need to coordinate with the enforcement authorities so that if you have any information relating to those who are acting against the order of the president, we need to join hands, report to the relevant authorities so that we are able to protect our environment and also ensure that we fight this climate change.
The Acholi sub-region has increased trade in forest products for over a decade, leading to the loss of thousands of indigenous tree species. According to clan leaders, approximately 100 trees are being cut daily to sustain the charcoal industry. The Office of the Prime Minister has started the relocation of new South Sudan refugees arriving at Palabek Refugee Settlement in Lamor District to the West Nile region. The move follows concerns about limited space at the refugee settlement amidst the continued influx of refugees fleeing civil unrest and anger from the neighboring South Sudan. According to officials, between 80 to 100 refugees cross into Lamor District on a daily basis from South Sudan, a move that is exerting pressure on the environment and social services provision. John Bosco Chaligonza, the refugee desk officer for Lamor District, revealed that they are currently transporting the refugees to other refugee settlements in Arua and Ajumani, where there are still available spaces. Chaligonza has, however, called on the OPM and humanitarian aid agency, United Nations High Commission for Refugees, to intervene and make an assessment of where they can continue settling the growing refugee population. Chaligonza had this to say.
Assessment of where we can continue to refugees because currently
The Lamour LC5 chairperson Sisto Yet revealed that they identified 2 locations it didn't disclose for the proposed establishment of a new refugee settlement that have already been surveyed by OPM.
Survey 2 other places where we can extend, and up to now, we have not yet got that feedback. Last week, we have received a letter from UNHCR that the excess refugee should be transported from here up to Germany and to Arua. So I'm asking the OPM and the UNHCR that the place that they've surveyed, they should put into consideration. Masses we are having meager resources, let's force refugee where they are comfortable.
The Minister for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Hilary Onek, during the celebration to mark World Refugee Day in Lamour District on Tuesday, noted that the growing number of refugees in the country is exerting immense pressure on the environment. And he notes that with the continued dwindling of funds for refugee management in the country, the government is considering taking a bold step to review its open door policy for refugees. Palabek Refugee Settlement was opened in 2017 and was meant to host some 60,000 refugees, but currently accommodates 79,000 according to the latest statistics from the OPM. In the national news, the High Court in Kampala has ordered the Attorney General and Ambassador James Idule Amoro to file their defense in the case in which the biological children of the late Supreme Court Justice Stella Arach are contesting her burial in Adjumani district. The order was issued by the Family Division Judge Ketra Chitarisibwa Katunguka. Yesterday, Katunguka says the case shall proceed today, Friday, by oral testimony. Both the Attorney General and Ambassador Amoro were not present in court and were not represented either. The other follows the order follows an application in which 3 of Arach's children, Yosa Anete, Emmanuel Komakech, and Jackie Amon, and their uncle Godfrey Picho and Auntie Christine Onyok, who are the siblings of the deceased, sued the government and Ambassador Amoro. The suit, filed yesterday afternoon, came after the 2 families disagreed on where to bury the deceased. The deceased husband wanted her buried in Adjumani district, while the children prefer Nebi district. The burial had earlier been scheduled for today, Friday, but it was halted after the Judiciary Chief Registrar Sarah Langa Siu issued a statement indicating that the date has been postponed until further notice. You are listening to the news on 104.1 Favor FM with me, Innocent Amon. In African news, people are rushing to markets in Sierra Leone's capital to stock up on food ahead of elections tomorrow, residents in Freetown have told reporters. It follows a standoff on Wednesday between the security forces and supporters of the main opposition party that reportedly left at least 1 person dead. Businesses shut down briefly amid the chaos, and there is now a palpable fear that there could be further violence after tomorrow's poll. Sidi Yahya Tunis, spokesperson for the opposition All People's Congress, told our correspondents that one of the party's supporters had been killed by the police. In the international news, U.S. President Joe Biden held U.S.-India ties while rolling out the pomp and pageantry for visiting Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday. This included marching bands, a lavish vegetarian dinner, and 21-gun salute on the south lawn of the White House. Mr. Modi, who is on a state visit, also addressed the U.S. Congress, where he received a standing applause. The U.S., which denied a visa to Mr. Modi over human rights concerns before he was Prime Minister, now sees him as a crucial ally. KCCA has appointed former AC Villa immediate head coach Jackson Magera as their first team coach until 20 2024. Magera returns to Lugogo Best side where he worked until 2.5 seasons ago, and he left after the departure of his mentor Mike Mutebi. The technical team will be headed by head coach or manager Sergio Traguil, who will be assisted by Luis Manuel Correira. The club has introduced a new role of strength and conditioning coach, and this will be overseen by Cuban Eduardo Lazaro Raman Leiva. Oloya Moses has been maintained as the goalkeepers coach. Saka Mpima has also been confirmed as the junior team head coach ahead of the 2023-2024 season, with Felix Ayobo maintained as the club's fitness coach. To end this news bulletin, I leave you with a scripture taken from the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 1, that says, "If then you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God." With that, we've come to the end of this news bulletin. I'm Innocent Amon. Sports is coming up next. Good afternoon.
That was the news on 104.1 Fever FM. Stay tuned for more national and global news only on 104.1 Fever FM.